second Tipsy Tuesday here at the Tipsy Tuesday. Just getting things around a little bit here while we go live with the new format. So bear with us to get this all off of here. We'll be live interaction on Discord. Look in the description of the video, you'll find a link to the link. So you should click Discord there, join the server, verify, drop in the live chat. Pull the music back a little bit. Stand by. Just have it.
Holding or
Yeah, hold first.
on looking forward or
Yeah, Tom, we're setting up a new format here tonight, so bear with us as we get all things figured out. This is a pilot, and I'll be explaining the concept here a little bit.
have you had this before?
Not yet.
Something new for both of us.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see my face way down here. Ash is going to live with that for a second here while we get the stream live. Go ahead and make us some glasses and make sure that microphone picks up that audio, that crack there. We're doing, that sounded good on my end. I hope it sounds good on their end. So we're doing a dark rum tonight. We're doing the Kraken. Is that what it's just called? The Kraken? The Kraken blackened spiced rum. So we're doing that stuff. It's 94 proof. What else do I got on here that I can tell you guys about this stuff? It's got other things on the label. It says plate 94, bizarre and fierce sea creatures as seen through the eyes of imagination. KrakenRum.com. Apparently made in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Go ahead and make a couple glasses of that. Just a finger or two for me, if you would. So we're doing a new thing tonight, and I know I'm way down here, but we'll switch the camera views in a second. Quick shout out. Hello, Fat Man. Hello, Andrew Cole. Hello, Tom Dury. Sarge and Sean Donnelly comes in at the tail end of the hello. Welcome, everyone. We're doing a sunset stream tonight, as evidenced by the fact that the Sony RX 100 Mark VI is currently getting its ass kicked by the sunset. we have a whole bunch of stuff set up, all right? And I will try to show you a little bit as we get this all figured out. Number one, I'm on a new microphone. I'm using the Movo LV4 lapel mic, and that's currently clipped just behind the windscreen of my boat here, so that you're not getting all the sound noise. However, the standard microphone is sitting up on the deck of the boat, so you'll hear little noises of ambience coming through that microphone. There's a third microphone on that side of the boat, and that's where Joe's hiding off frame. See, there's like we're hitting it in there. So we have some Kraken. Joe, raise your glasses, me bully boys. So Joe and I are drinking tonight aboard Tiamo Love live from Tiamo, and I am so glad to see you all join us here. Hello, Lieutenant Colonel Panic and Marco Ida. Thanks for joining us. With that said, what the hell are we doing tonight? Let me tell you. So we have a new format. We are here aboard Tiamo, and I brought out the cream of the crop of hardware, and Sarge took a little bit of time today, and he made some magic happen, and you're looking at it. So I'm looking at this camera here, Joe's looking at this camera over here, and we got this big beautiful sunset up here. And we got a couple of scenes to really enjoy that. So I'm going to drop Joe and me down here. And so now you can see how that all comes together. And just a little touch of my head. I got a duck. Okay, it's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
Still there.
It's all right. You can see my head bouncing around. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's part of the sun. So Joe and I are drinking the Kraken with a little bit of Dr. Pepper tonight.
I think it's a little bit of we're drinking Dr. Pepper with a little bit of Kraken.
Is that what we're doing? That's probably the safest way to do it.
It's mighty good.
Oh my god, that microphone picks up the slurp. Those things are just ridiculous.
When you got a massive mustache, you have to do it.
Yeah, I got
just so you suck it off the mustache.
So the other thing I'm going to do here is drop into live chat and enable this. So, hello live chat. I see you guys.
Hello.
Okay, I hope the audio is coming through YouTube okay. I'm going to get back onto my monitor here. So, I know we haven't been live from Tiamo very much, and tonight we just happen to be alive using the Marina Wi-Fi. I'm not even using my fancy Verizon jetpack or my Google cell phone data hotspot. It's just the Marina. It's the Marina.
I think the only reason that works is because we moved those antennas.
We did fix the antennas. We kind of guerrilla warfare the Marina Wi-Fi hotspot here.
I mean, when they're going like this, and now they're like this, you're set.
Yeah. So this is an interactive show. So if you want to come and hang out in Discord, you can hit that link tree on the YouTube description and drop into live chat with us and be a part of the conversation. This will be recorded, so for those of you that have to multitask or whatever tonight, you can always watch us later or however you want to do that. But we're going to go live with it now. We're going to do it live. We're going to do it live. And this is unrehearsed. So this is a new segment for Tipsy Raven Sailing. It's still Tipsy Tuesday. It is in fact Tuesday, which makes it even easier to make it Tipsy Tuesday. There is alcohol in the glasses, which makes it even tipsier Tuesday. Excuse me, I had to tips it a little bit back there. But we're adding a new segment called At the Stern. And it's anytime you see At the Stern here, it's an interview kind of moment, and largely inspired by the jerk, the bearded asshole from the Hangover movie. What was his?
I can't remember his name.
Anyways, he had a TV show. He calls it Between Two Ferns, and if you haven't seen it yet, it's hilarious. We'll probably not go that far off the rails, but the name of my interviewing segments is largely inspired by this asshole. Probably because I am also a bearded asshole, but that's okay too. So, to kick us off with this entire new thing that we're trying to do, we got 3 cameras running, we got like 7 microphones, of which we're listening to 4. I think we have 4 microphones hot tonight. So there's a little bit of echo. Bear with us. We're trying to figure it out. Inago Chunks, thank you for joining us. Sorry, come at me, Discord. What was she saying?
I'm sorry, it's Zach Galifianakis.
Oh,
That's the
Zach
actor.
Galifianakis. Yeah. Can you hear the
Yeah.
Discord from here? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take my monitor off. So, because if you can hear him, I can probably hear him.
I hope so.
And now I can hear you without the echo, and they can just deal with it. They doesn't have to live with it. So, before we dive in, YouTube, throw me a thumbs up in chat. Let me know the picture's good. Let me know the audio's good, and then we're gonna learn a little bit about Joe, because he happens to be sitting on the boat.
What would you like to know?
I'm afraid to know. I'm afraid to ask you questions.
A little about me is right out of high school, I joined the Navy. Spent 4 years doing that.
So were you a bilge rat Navy guy, or were
No,
you a
I worked
gunnery
on
guy,
airplanes.
or you were a wrench turner,
I was an Airedale,
an Airedale?
an
Okay.
ordnance tech Airedale.
Oh, so you lifted the big heavy shit
I
under the
loaded
wings.
the bombs onto jets.
Oh no shit.
And be careful where you say that because it can get you in a lot of trouble.
Well, we're only recording it live to the internet.
Yeah,
You're fine.
you're fine. My rate was known as aviation ordnanceman.
Okay.
I got out of the Navy as an E5 or second class petty officer,
Okay.
and then proceeded to go to work for Dan Gurney's All-American Racers.
All right.
Some of you old school guys might remember the name, but Dan actually pioneered a lot in the way of racing.
Yeah. Sure.
One of the first to wear a full leather helmet, one of the first to do a full carbon fiber chassis
Yeah.
for a race car, and he's been pioneering a lot. And they were racing for 30 years before they got out.
Is this the same company you're with now, or did you?
Same company I'm with now. I've been
Oh,
with
wow.
them for 14 years.
14 years. Wow. Wow. And what's on the horizon for you, Joe?
Looking out from here, I'm actually going to be leaving California, the wonderful state it is, and moving to Michigan, where I will keep an eye on Dan's place here. Actually, I should point that way because the cameras.
Yeah. And don't forget, your face is up here on this camera
Yeah.
here. You're not down on the monitor.
So I'm going to be heading over to Dan's place, helping him keep an eye on it while he makes his epic voyage across the sea.
All right.
And
I like this idea. I support my assets being tended.
yeah, I mean, I've been wanting to get out of California for years now, and I finally found a way to do it where not only am I getting out, helping myself become a more relaxed individual, because stress is a thing, I'm also helping a friend out.
That's beautiful. I love it. I love it so much. And do you have a thing solved for when you get out there, or are you just jumping into the fire?
Jump in the fire, why not?
Jump in the
Make
fire.
life exciting.
Just jump in the fire. I love it. It's
You know,
good.
a
It's
friend of
good.
mine told me every man has to go on a walkabout.
There's
and
going to be
this-
a walkabout.
This
for
is
you.
my walkabout.
Yeah, man. It's a 3,000-mile drive-about. And then-
2200.
Oh.
I've mapped it.
Oh, so are you taking a very direct route, or how are you getting there?
Well, right now, the direct route is 22.
Direct route 20.
I might take a few detours. I don't know yet.
Have you been to Denver, Colorado yet?
I have not.
So there's a place just south of Denver, Colorado called Colorado Springs, and that's where the Garden of the Gods is. And it's also where Pikes Peak is.
Ooh, Pikes Peak. I will not be attempting the Pikes Peak.
Why not? I did it.
Well, I'll drive it, but I won't attempt a record.
No, no, not after Gymkhana. What was it? Gymkhana 7, where Ken Block drove the The
drove it
unicorn?
sideways up the
Drive,
mountain.
yeah, up with no guardrails or no, none of that.
Not gonna do that.
Yeah, you'll have to drop your trailer. Wait, and you're not hauling
I'm
a
not
trailer.
hauling a trailer. I have a camper shell on the back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have.
Stroll, can you mute, please?
Thank you, Batman.
I'm gonna have.
Yeah, I'm just asking somebody to mute the chat, that's all.
Thank you, sir.
I'm gonna have a few things in the back there and a few things up front that I don't really want anything to happen to, and I'm not mentioning what they are because YouTube doesn't like some of them.
That's fair. That's fair. We can all guess. I'm sure we can all guess what you might be storing in your car next to the dildos and next to the. I gotta be careful because I'm gonna get my own channel banned. I appreciate you trying not to ban me.
No, he's not storing those in the car. Those are on his person.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I need weapons to defend myself, right? I mean, seriously, if you think about it, if you're the attacker, you're attacking me, and then I whip out a big black dildo and then start swinging at you. What are you gonna do?
We're gonna officially call it the Joe stick.
The fact that it's a bat, he's immediately gonna pause and go, "Where did he have that stored?" He'll probably fall and now pissing himself laughing, and then he's gonna notice an immediate reduction in Joe's posture.
Much more relaxed, kind of drunken master approach to standing.
Saying he wouldn't be quite so stiff.
Thanks, Jerry. I was wondering if you were in there somewhere. I had a feeling you were hiding out somewhere in
Said
there.
it was in Vegas, so we're just double covering ground here.
Well, Joe might very well be carrying 2 sticks and also doubling some ground.
You never know.
So we're Pikes Peak, 2 thumbs up. I stopped there on my drive out to California. It was absolutely fantastic. Highly, highly recommended. Garden of the Gods, same exact thing. Like, you gotta go. If you're gonna drive past it, you gotta drive into it, right? But that means you'll probably, are you gonna like go past Vegas, or are you gonna stay south to like Texas? Or?
So far, I'm not going the south route because that adds a lot of miles to it.
That's the way I had to go because I was hauling a trailer with my truck.
Okay.
Yeah.
The most direct route takes me the northern route, up the 15 to. Can't remember what it was.
You're gonna drive right past Vegas.
I'm probably gonna drive past Vegas.
Yeah, you drive through Vegas.
You know, I've been to Vegas twice. Never really liked it.
That's fair. And so, if you take the 15, I think you come out either in Denver or just south of Denver. Once you're through the mountains, are you still in Colorado, or are you even farther north?
I'm not 100%. I haven't really fully plotted the route yet.
That's fair.
I'm going to save that for my final couple of days here in California.
Yeah.
That way I can look at where construction is and,
Yeah.
and where the most traffic jams are. And I love trains, by the way.
Oh, that's why we have the ambient mic running. I'm sure you guys can hear that train just pounding the microphone.
Oh, yes. Yes, frequently.
We're here in the
Hey,
port of
can you
LA,
keep it
so
down?
we're trying to do an episode.
Hey, he might have heard that one.
I think he gave you that last little toot just to fuck. Oh, no. He definitely didn't hear you. He's just going at it.
So,
Every time they cross the roadway.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of little streets over there in
Yeah.
Wilmington. So that's Wilmington right behind us, and so that's where all the cars get brought in from overseas. That's the big parking lot where all the cars are. So that's a big car hauling train.
so usually when I plan a road trip,
The Kia lot on the other side of you?
I don't know what the name of it is, but yeah, it's where all there's like a couple thousand cars that come in there every other day. It's a huge number of cars. So I don't know what the name of it is though.
so when I go on a road trip, I usually plan the route 1 or 2 days before I actually make the trip to
Fair.
take into account road construction, weather, traffic patterns, because that stuff always changes.
Yeah.
You have no control over that.
Right on.
So I'll wait till like the last couple of days, or sometimes, depending on how long it is, the last hour before I leave, and plan it out.
Nice.
The day before I leave is when I load everything in the truck, get everything placed. I usually plan out what I'm taking on my road trip, like a week in advance. That way I can make sure
Yeah.
I have enough of everything. And, you know,
So on my way out, I did Lansing to Chicago, and then Chicago to Springfield, and then to Kansas City, and then there's nothing worth talking about until you get all the way to Colorado. And then I drove straight into Colorado Springs. I didn't go to Denver myself. Down to Albuquerque, down to El Paso, Phoenix, and then here into California. So that's the route I took. And the reason I took that route is because it was the flattest route west that I could find. And even though it was the flattest route I could find, I still had to fight with the Rotan Pass. And let me tell you, the 6-banger Ford F-150 two-wheel drive truck with a 6x12 U-Haul that's got a blacksmithy in the back of it, because I brought my blacksmithy in California, that was nerve-wracking. I was maybe doing 10 miles per hour up the Rotan Pass, and I had big semi-trucks passing me and stuff. Yeah. So that one-day, 10-hour route, that will take you just south of Colorado Springs. So
I have to detour a little bit to go check that out.
There's an app, you can get it for your phone. It's called Road Trippers, and based on, like, you can tell it where you are, right? And it'll tell you, oh, here's the thing you got to go take a picture of. And it'll take you to things like the big green dinosaur thing that's out there. It'll take you to Carhenge. It'll take you to overlooks and scenic, spots to snap a selfie and shit like that. So it's called Road Trippers. It's super super neat like that.
One out.
Yeah, it'll keep things interesting. How long are you going to be driving for, do you think? I know it says one day 10 hours, but how many days do you think it's actually going to be?
Well, 1 day 10 hours from my experience means you're driving nonstop, which
Right
means
on.
you have someone with you and you're switching off.
Yeah.
I'm going to guesstimate that it's going to take me at a minimum 2 days.
2 days?
Depending on how often I stop, where
Sure.
I stop,
Sure.
and how crazy I want to get taking pictures.
Right on.
One of my hobbies is photography, so
I was going to say, so one of the original things I did here on the Tipsy Raven channel, okay, one of the oldest videos here that's available for people to watch is actually the time lapse of me driving across the country. And you can actually watch the route in the opposite direction than what Joe's about to take. It's one of the oldest videos. You have to go to my videos and scroll way down. It's also the video that set the bar for how I do lower thirds and how I do editing. I took a lot of time and a lot of care because I had a huge amount of material, because I didn't just have a time-lapse camera running. I had a time-lapse camera on the dash, which I'll just send it with you. You want a time-lapse camera for your
Sure.
way? Okay.
I'll
We'll get
time-lapse
that
it
out
for
of the
you.
drawer for you. I don't use it in my current rig, so... and then I also had my point-and-shoot camera, which is currently doing the sunset. This right here. This guy. Boop, 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 boop. Every time I saw something cool, I would slow down, pick that camera up, and handhold it, like arm's length personal tripod approach, and like not talk to the camera like I'm driving, but the camera's shooting me from like a 35 degree off center approach. And so the time lapse isn't just straight time lapse. It's interrupted by me doing personal interviews with myself, explaining where I'm at, how far I got, what's next, what's to expect. And in a couple of spots, I'll stop the time lapse and actually run standard film so that people can see like the sunsets or the scenery that I was driving through. And the craziest thing happened slightly after Kansas City. I was listening to AM weather stations because I had the marine radios in the truck with me, and I had tornado warnings to the west, tornado warnings to the north, flooding and tornado warnings. No, I had flooding and tornado warnings to the west, tornado warnings to the north, and tornado warnings behind me, which doesn't surprise me because in the time lapse you can actually see the clouds swirling a little bit,
Cool.
like in time lapse mode, right, as I was driving by. And the only path that was clear was south, but the only thing to the south was Texas and Oklahoma, and I was like, I'm not interested. So I just kept driving west, and it actually got to the point where they had an emergency overpass. Like they put gravel and stuff down in the median so that people could drive onto the other freeway, because the other half of the freeway, the westbound freeway, was underwater, right, for easily a mile.
wow.
Right? And so I'm hauling this trailer across this temporary road in the middle of nowhere with no support whatsoever, right? And I'm thinking to myself, it's even wet. Like, you can see the water is like, it's like an inch deep, but it's rushing across even this side to the other side, right? And so it was a little nerve-wracking. It was a hell of an adventure. And there's an entire time lapse of it on Tipsy Raven Sailing. You guys can check it out at your leisure. So I'm kind of curious. We've been talking about tomorrow quite a bit. Let's talk about yesterday. You have told me a couple of stories that are pretty neat about sailing and being in the Navy and being in the Japanese inner sea. What do they call it? The sea between Japan and China there?
The Sea of Japan.
It's okay, this is the Sea of Japan.
Sea of Japan. As far as I know. So, China might say something else, but...
Are you allowed to say what vessel you were on? And
I was on the Kitty Hawk.
You were on the Kitty Hawk?
We were standing alert posture, I think it was 5 or 15. I can't remember exactly. Basically, jet is on the cat, arm to the tooth, ready to launch at a moment's notice. And I think we were alert posture 15 because engines were not running. And if anything happened, we'd start those engines up and get those birds on the go. And I was standing up next to the tower looking out because it was my turn to stand watch up on the flight deck. And I had thermals on, I had my flight deck gear on, I had my foul weather gear on, along with my float coat over the top. I had a beanie on, I had my cranial on, and 2 hoodies.
So were you rocking that kid in the Christmas story where you can't put your arms down?
Just about. And let me tell you, it is cold.
I bet.
And I've heard stories of eastern Montana cold. I've heard stories of Michigan cold.
What is it? Is that like 45 degrees north? Is it 50 degrees north? Do you know offhand?
Way up north.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's around the northern end of Japan was where we were at when I was up there. And we had roughly 50 knot winds over the bow, along with, and I kid you not, in a 5-minute time period, rain, snow, sleet, hail, rain, snow, sleet. And you could tell the difference between each one, and it was all going at you sideways.
No shit.
And when it started, I was standing next to the helo, using it as a wind block.
Right.
Because 50 knot winds, you're not moving very fast.
No.
Across the flight deck anyways.
Or you start moving really fast.
Yeah. So I have the helo blocking the wind, and I'm looking at the jet, waiting for the signal to come arm it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I see the canopy on the jet close, and everybody that's standing around go behind the jet blast deflector. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden this flurry of little tiny, what looks like snow, but it's really hail, comes wafting over the helicopter and lands on me and my buddy. And we're like, the hell?
Frozen sea spray?
No, the helicopters slowed the wind enough for the hail that's moving at 50 knots to just come up and over and just gently land on us.
No shit.
So we're standing there and we got this, what looks like grain of rice size hail just landing on us.
That's so cool.
50 knot winds, this is going to hurt. That's why
it's
they
a
all moved.
sandblasting cabinet.
It is.
Yeah, no shit.
And literally in a matter of 5 minutes, we had all those different weather types just coming across the flight deck.
Wow.
And I'm just like, yeah, I don't think they're launching in the next 5 minutes. So I'm going to go warm my head up.
So, was this the same seas that you were in when you saw green water over the bow?
No, that was green water over the bow was actually off the coast of Australia.
Australia, okay.
We found a typhoon.
And we played in it.
See, aircraft carriers love storms because they get up right close to it. They turn into the wind, so they have more wind across the bow, so they use less energy to propel themselves forward to launch planes. Yeah. Well, we got a little too close one day. They canceled all flight operations, landed all the jets, which was an interesting thing because you had pilots miss all 4 wires with their tail hook by 2 inches across the entire flight deck.
Oh, man.
Because the boat is literally
doing that,
doing this.
Yeah.
And you could stand there and you could hold your arm level with the deck. Sky, water. Sky, water. And you're just like, I'm glad we're not flying in this.
All right, so fix my terminology for me. is this? Do you guys call it a voyage when you leave home port, and go out and come back again? Do you call it a voyage? Do you
We call it a cruise.
You call it a cruise.
We go on cruise.
Okay. All right. So was it the same cruise that you were in the North Japan Sea as you were down in Australia, or was it a separate cruise?
Separate cruise.
So how many cruises did you go on it while you were in the Navy, do you think?
Well, because the Kitty Hawk was old and broke a lot, we were only able to stay out for about 3 months at a time before it had to go in for repair.
Okay. So dozens, it sounds like.
It was about 6 or 7 cruises.
Okay, right on.
But again, they were only like 3 months long because the boat broke.
Yeah, you cross the ocean,
Yeah.
go flex the big stick, and then go back across, right?
That's about all we had time for.
Yeah.
Something
come
would
home.
break. I mean, at one point, every cruise we went, we were dragging either prop 2 or prop 3. One of them would always be dragging.
Yep.
And then towards the end of my tour in Japan, we lost catapult number 2.
The catapult is the thing that stops the jet.
No, it's what launches the
Launches
jet.
the jet.
The steam valve cracked.
Okay, that's what stops the jet.
No, that's what launches.
Okay.
So
What stops it?
that's the cable system.
Okay.
The cables work great all the time, every time.
Okay.
Launching, however, it takes a lot of effort.
Sure.
So you have the steam engines, or the boilers produce steam.
Sure.
For the steam turbines to run the props.
Right.
For the steam turbines to run power, which
So she was a steam-powered ship. What made the steam?
boilers.
So you weren't coal-fired.
No, we were oil fired.
You were oil-fired. Okay.
We
all
hooked
right.
up to an oiler roughly every 3 days.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, we used a lot of oil.
But technically speaking, regardless of how you made the steam, you were effectively a steam-powered
Pretty much.
aircraft carrier.
Pretty much.
That's pretty fucking cool. And you used the steam in other places other than the engines, then?
Yes. And so we used them for propulsion, we used it for power generation, and the majority of it went to launching jets.
So, somebody out there in YouTube land will correct me. I know we got a bunch of geeks hanging out with us. And I do have a question here in the YouTube chat. We'll ask it in a second. But steam is literally 1,500 times the volume as the same unit of water that created it. I think is the number that somebody told me.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's way up there. You take a gallon of water and you end up with 1,500 gallons of steam by volume, right?
Roughly.
Give or take, depending on temperatures and everything else.
Yeah.
But it's a good ballpark. And so, when you watched these planes off the deck, did you actually lose the engines, or was there enough held in reserve?
There's enough in reserve to keep the engines moving and launch planes. And I think the fastest I've ever seen planes take off is one every minute and a half.
Wow.
And that's just
scramble the whole.
scramble jets, just get them in the air
Yeah, just up,
as
up,
fast
up.
as we can.
Yeah.
And we could recover and launch one jet every 2 minutes.
Did you have the big elevators on the side to put the jets inside?
We
and
had
stuff?
4 elevators.
Yeah. Were those steam powered too?
Those were hydraulic.
Oh, those hydraulic. Okay, right on.
Yeah.
And then the question Tom Drury asks: was it in the Tasman Sea? I don't know if that's referring to the green water or something else, but
I don't know exactly where it was. I know we were pulling into Perth.
okay. Yep.
So
my sailing plan that takes me around the world, I want to end up in Perth around Christmas time. I'm told it's one of the most incredible places in the world to celebrate Christmas. So
it's going to be like summer here when
right.
you go there.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Christmas.
it's complete opposite.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, it's so warm. When I was there, I was wearing my cut-off BDU short sleeve shirt, walking around like it's nothing. And it's like temperatures here in California on a regular summer day, 85, 90 degrees Fahrenheit. You're just like, this is nice. For them, that's cold.
Tom gives us an update here. I knew one of our science geeks would let us know 1 to 1,700 at one atmospheric pressure. So
yeah, that's a lot of steam.
That's a lot of steam. And I imagine you're just sucking it right out of the ocean and turning the salt water into steam, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a treatment process to get the salt out before they boil it.
Yeah, sure.
But it's pretty much from the ocean out.
And shoot,
and then
suck the ocean
back
up
to
and
the
shoot a plane with
yeah.
it.
It's crazy.
That's fantastic. So, what color did you wear while you were on deck?
Red.
You were a red guy. You were a red shirt.
Yep.
Not unlike what you're wearing here tonight. What's your shirt say for the people back home?
For the people at home that can read it.
I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you. And there's a lot of that going on right now because I've never walked on deck of one of these aircraft carriers. So.
On the flight deck, if they said, "Hey, what'll it take for you to go back in and be active duty right now?" I tell them, 1, I work the flight deck. 2, I work the flight deck, and 3, I work the flight deck.
Yeah. You don't want any other job on a boat.
On board the boat, things are kind of They're not really that exciting. The most exciting thing for me was flight deck ops.
Right.
And because if you're not paying attention, you will die.
Oh, yeah.
A jet will turn on you and knock you off the ship.
So those cables, I mean, they're what, 3-4 inches thick? And
They're about 2 inch, 2.5
inch thick cables, and they're snapping across the deck, stopping a $14 million
very big, very expensive, very fast-moving plane. Because when they come in full throttle.
Yeah, because
full
they have to
afterburner,
take
full
off
throttle.
again. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just in case they miss the cable.
Right.
And once they're caught, someone says, "Hey, we got you, throttle down."
Right.
And they're just like, "Oh, okay." And
so they're going full throttle
as far as that'll go and more.
Yeah, they're up into the afterburner and pushing.
Yeah, it's really neat to see the afterburner.
Oh, I bet where the cones come in and
it's so beautiful.
You get the mock diamond off the back and stuff. Yeah, that's gotta be cool.
I think one night it was clear enough. I counted 13 diamonds.
Oh, so that'd be neat.
And just flame out the back end of that jet as long as the jet is.
That sounds so cool, man.
It's rare when the conditions are that nice to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's super neat.
It is one of those things. And forget trying to take a picture of it, because I tried. It doesn't work out.
I can imagine it. Yeah, because it's constantly moving.
Yeah. I actually talked to some guys that were doing a engine test on an F-18.
Yeah.
I said, "What's the longest you can hold it at full power?"
Yeah.
You know, with as long as flame you can get out of it as you can. And they go, about a minute before the jet starts bitching at us because we're using too much fuel.
Yeah, you're sucking the tanks dry,
Yeah, and it'll suck the tank dry quick. So I convinced him to hold it there long enough for me to get a photo of it. And I wish I had my camera and hard drive here.
Oh, we'll put it in the Tipsy Raven chat later.
Yeah.
I'll get it from you later.
I got the most amazing picture I think I could have ever have gotten of the afterburner going.
I gotta see it.
And it was a fairly long exposure for the amount of light that was there.
Right.
But it was the only way to get the shock diamonds.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta be Johnny on the spot and perfectly stable.
Yeah, and you're thinking you're taking a picture of fire, you want a real quick camera shutter. No, you need a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in the middle of the ocean and it's pitch black everywhere else.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, you don't want to.
So you're going from pitch black to white.
Yeah.
In the same photo.
Yeah.
You tried taking a picture of that.
It sounds
Tell
like
me how that comes out. I think I took like 20 pictures to get that one.
We'll put that picture in the Tipsy Raven chat here when we get an opportunity, because I think that'd be really neat to share with the group.
Yeah.
So you were in for 4 years, or
4 years active duty, and then I did 2 years of active reserve.
Oh, I see. But when you were active reserve, did you go out on cruises, or
no?
You just like showed up at base and marched around for a week to do your physicals and and then back home again, kind of thing.
Yep.
Right
1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year.
And you made it all the way to E5?
I made it to E5, and literally it's like I got off active duty and then went active reserve, and it was time for me to take the advancement exam.
Right.
And because in the reserves, my rate is wide open, meaning there's lots of spots to fill, and we got no one to fill them.
Right, yeah.
I'm 85.
Right on.
And everyone goes, "Well, man, can I copy your study material that you used on the test?" I'm like, "What study material?" He's like, "What?" I'm like, "I don't study for any of those tests. I just take them.
Right, yeah.
If I pass, I pass. If I don't, oh well."
Yeah.
They're like, "Wait a minute, you didn't study and you scored a 98 on your test?"
There you go.
I'm like, "Really? That's what I scored?" Huh. Got me.
Run with it, yeah.
It's like, I don't study for tests. I'm terrible at studying. I learn by doing. And if all else fails, C.
Yep. Just write
C.
down that third column.
Yeah.
Straight down the column.
It's either B, which is rare,
yeah,
C, which is most common, or the longest common sense answer that makes sense to the question.
Right. You're not even answering the question. You're just phonetically responding to it.
Yes.
You're just like, that sentence doesn't actually read in congruence with the question they just asked. I have no idea what they asked. I have no idea what I'm answering with.
Does it make sense with the question?
Yeah.
Yes, it's probably that. And that's how just about every test out there is ever written, whether you're in high school, whether you're in college, or in the military.
Yeah.
And as long as you pay attention...
The nice part of multiple choice, you can work backwards.
It's like a maze, you know.
It is.
You don't always have to go in the entrance of the maze. You can start at the exit and work your way backwards. And you can do those two things together.
If I had to make one of those, I'd put like 15 in a row with the same answer just to watch all the people taking it start freaking out.
That's cruel and unusual, fucking with the statistics.
If you make a test, please do that. Just to mess with people.
Dude, you know about the sixth one, you'd watch them start twitching and be going back and be like, there's no way, and then finally just accept defeat.
Well, because statistically, if you look at every test answer, you'll never see a straight line of all the same answer. Like,
Yeah.
if it's multiple choice, like on a Scantron, you'll never see a straight line of all C, or all B, or all A, or something like that.
Yeah.
It always bounces around, because random.
Yeah.
But if you specifically made a test to where every answer was the same, and it was literally lines,
Yeah.
you would freak people out.
Yeah. I've taken tests where they didn't use A, B, C, D. They rotated the letters, right? So it, like, the first letter would be an E, the second letter would be an M, the third letter would be an X, right? Just to really fuck with you. Like, you can't just answer all B, because not every question has a B response, right? So I've taken tests like that in college that were a really big mind fuck. They were a lot of fun to take. I heard a comment coming in on Discord.
But then still make it to where on the Scantron it's all just one straight line, no matter what the letter is.
Well, yeah. If physically speaking on the paper, but the people who always want to answer C, it kind of fucks with their heads, you know? It makes them think a little bit before they do the thing. So,
I have the worst kind of multiple choice question for you.
I'm all ears.
Which of these is the most correct?
Oh, that shit just grinds my gears, man.
That sums up
D,
an 8-hour
all the
engineering
above.
exam.
That's
Those could fuck right off.
those are really, really common on the vSphere test for ESX virtualized server exams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where
I
I've
was
seen
just
those the
gonna say,
most.
that reminds me of the freaking vSphere test.
Yep, the vSphere test. Most logically accurate answer. And the funny thing is they very specifically throw something wrong into it, but 90% of it is accurate enough that it is the most, right? It's just a pain in the ass. You really have to think about it when you take that stupid exam.
Yeah, you have to dissect every answer to make sure that there's nothing in that one answer that's wrong.
Yeah, and then of course they time the damn thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You get 1 hour.
60 questions. I'm sorry, 90 questions, 60 minutes, and none of the answers are simple true false. Like, you can't shave the time off other places.
Yeah.
You just have to accept the fact that you're not going to get every question, and they kind of expect that. They grade on a weird curve, and they don't expect you to answer the whole exam. They're looking at the accuracy of the things you do answer, right? And there's a weird curve to it and stuff. It's a really odd test to take. I do not recommend it, but at the same time, I kind of do if you're a glutton for punishment. So, and I was kind of a glutton of punishment. I never actually used my vSphere for anything. I just took the exam because I had $3,000 and whatever.
Why not?
Whatever.
Question format they constantly do in the UK is they'll give you two columns of things, so like a bunch of things on the left, A, B, and C, a bunch of stuff on the right, A, B, and C. You have to draw the lines between them to match them. They always use the same fucking pattern. Two of them will always go down diagonally, one will always intersect the two, and it's always the same pattern. They will never have them go straight across. So if you can confidently put one across, and ideally if it's the one that goes from C all the way up to A, the other
Yeah.
two can only go diagonally at a parallel intersection.
That's nuts.
Always the same. I've taken that test in primary school, secondary school, my final exams, college. Every time that comes up, it's always the same fucking pattern. it can't be all go across in a straight line. It's got to cross somewhere, and they always choose that pattern.
That's crazy. And people look for the patterns and they get distracted from actually taking the test. Just answer LC.
I'd be the guy that makes all three go across in one question, and then two diagonally this way in another, and then two diagonally this way in another, and then the X with the one in the middle.
Statistically speaking, you got to get at least one right.
I mean, you're going to.
It's not a complete shut up, right?
And then I'd be the asshole who makes my test in 3 different variants,
Right.
and just pass them out randomly to the students,
Yep.
and then see which ones copy each other.
Oh, that'd be so much fun. Hey, how you doing, Rob?
Physics teacher in high school that did that. He'd have multiple formats of the test.
So each student would get a slightly different version of the test.
Not each student, but it'd be like if you're sitting in the seat, the left and right of you were going to be a different variant. ABC, ABC, ABC. So that way, trying to glance to the side, you're going to see a different version.
You'd fuck yourself.
They do
Yeah.
the same thing on the PE exam. When they sit you down, it's assigned seating, so they try not to put you near anybody of your own discipline, because all the PE candidates are taking their tests in the same room, electromechanical, chemical, nuclear, whatever.
Yeah.
And anybody near you that's the same discipline as you has a different version. It's all the same questions with the orders scrambled.
That's craziness. Has anybody out there taken Has anybody out there taken their Red Hat exam yet? The remote proctored Red Hat exam.
No.
The testing station, you sit at it, and like it's this big scorpion arm that sticks out of the table, and they have like 7 different cameras, and there's somebody sitting there watching you take this test. They're watching your face, they're watching your hands, they're watching the paper, they're watching the room around you, right? It's the most insane security I've ever seen on a silly test for Red Hat.
Huh.
So your Red Hat certified engineer thing comes with a hell of a proctored exam. Like, either you take it in person and then they just babysit you, but if you take it remote, which is really common these days, they have cameras on you, dude, and multiple cameras at that. So,
The PE exam's funny because here's the certain kind of calculators you can use, which is expected. You're just limited to a scientific calculator, nothing you can program. But you can bring, as long as it's quote unquote, they say bound and remains bound, you can bring in whatever material you want for reference. So, I brought in a couple different code books, a bunch of my own notes, the book I practiced on, that stuff. But they won't let you bring in your own pencil.
what?
Yeah, literally. You can bring in your calculator, you can bring
How
in
can
a
you not
protractor,
bring your own?
you
Well,
can bring in a ruler, a protractor.
it has to be a certain type for a Scantron style.
That stuff.
Maybe, but even so.
Yeah, you can't use your own pencil.
That's
Sorry.
just asinine.
So I had a class in high school. It was pre-engineering technology.
Sure.
And in this classroom, it was split amongst 3 courses. If you took all 3, you'd be someone who knew something.
Right.
And very few people took all 3, but I was one of those weird ones that liked technology.
Yeah.
So we had a module where we could simulate building bridges and testing them with weights for pressure or load testing and earthquake testing.
Sure.
And we'd build them out of like popsicle sticks or toothpicks or whatever.
Right. Standard high school
Really cool.
building materials. Yeah.
We had a vinyl cutter, a vinyl printer, we had plotter, we had a robotic arm, really cool toy.
What?
We had a 3-axis tabletop mill that was good enough to do like wood.
Yeah.
We had this pneumatic station, we had digital recording, video recording.
So jealous, dude. I went to
all kinds of stuff.
I went to inner city schools in Michigan. They were doing that. They were doing some sort of racial balancing thing, and so my bus ride to school was like an hour and a half every day, just one way. It was an hour and a half of busing. Now, granted, the bus was stopping to pick people up and then going and stopping, going and stopping. Kent, how you doing tonight, buddy? They were busting us in from the countryside pretty hard. And there was 1,100 students in my graduating class. And so our biggest claim to fame was if you were put into an advanced placement class, like you had AP physics or whatever, you actually went to the college. You did not stay at the school, because the only thing the school did was house lots of kids. Lots and lots of kids, man. So that was a big part of it. The unique thing about my schooling was the the fact that I took 3 foreign languages my senior year. I took Russian, Spanish, and German. And I remember some Russian, not a lot of it. Ja говорю по-русски очень плохо.
So this pre-engineering technology class,
Yeah.
everything,
Indeed.
every module had what it was, and it said technology.
Right.
So like CNC technology, robotic technology, this and yada yada yada.
Right.
And the teacher at the beginning of the semester would do a simple 1-question test.
Right.
Spell technology. Half the class got it wrong,
Really?
even though it was plastered everywhere.
It was on every wall. I have taken tests in college where the first line, it wasn't even a question. The first instruction was, read this exam before you answer any questions. And the last question was, you will fail this exam if you answered true, or if you answered any answer except for the prompt to this question. And you just clicked off acknowledge, right? You just clicked acknowledge, or you put a check mark next to it, and you turned it in, right? And people, you see them, they're chicking off the paper, and it says read the whole thing, and you flip through it right quick, and you're like, oh. And then you just check it off, and you walk to the front of the class to turn the paper in. Everybody stops and looks at you like, what?
When I was in school, my handwriting utterly sucked, so I was entitled to have a scribe available. And we'd do it in a number of ways. Usually, I would fill out the exam once myself, and then I'd get an extra 30 minutes at the end where I'm not allowed to touch the exam paper, but I can translate it, and they'll translate it to a second exam paper, and both go to the exam board. Well, she would also, the person that did my scribing would sit beside me during the exam. They weren't allowed to talk to me, but they'd sit there. At the end of my exam week, she says, I've got to ask you a question, because this is weirding me the fuck out. She says, you're the only student I know who does the exam backwards. Like, I would start from the last page and work backwards.
Yeah,
She's
sure,
like,
why not?
Why the fuck are you doing this? And I said, because they make a fatal fucking flaw. They lay out the exam building upon knowledge, and frequently they will, something they expected you to answer earlier on, they will assume you answered correctly later on.
They
Like,
give
I
you
don't
the
know,
answer.
They might say, yeah, what's the square root of a circle? I don't know, some stupid question like that on page 1. Or on page 20, they might say, square root of a circle is this, how would you divide by this?
Yeah, they give
So
you the
go
equation,
backwards
sure.
through it, they feed you all the answers going to match.
Yeah, they sure
And I
shit
told
do,
this
man.
student, and she was like, wait, so you just go backwards through it? I was like, yeah, that's why teachers tell you if you don't understand it, skip the question, because they'll probably hand it you later on and you can backtrack on yourself. But it fucks with me. It fucks with my momentum if I skip a question.
Joe, let's
So I
pour
always
one more.
work
more?
backwards.
Yeah, let's pour one more. So I see a couple new people coming up into the YouTube chat. I just wanted to do a shout out for Kent Kovac, a good buddy of mine back in the Midwest there. It's nice to see you join us tonight, Kent. And then Leon, I saw you drop in there, buddy. It's good to see you joining us tonight. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream this evening. After Joe pours a couple of drinks, we're going to turn on the mizzen lights, so we have a little extra light because we lost our sun. The sun is most definitely gone. It made a mad dash for freedom back there. So
Get out of California while you can.
so we're going to try to get a little extra light on us with the mizzen spreader lamps after Joe pulls these drinks here. Just wanted to do a quick shout out to those folks that joined us in the YouTube chat. At the Stern is the name of our new video segment that we do here. This is our pilot episode. Crazy Joe is joining us tonight. We're going to be doing interviews here on Tiamo as fast and as often as I can find somebody to interview, using the format that you're seeing this evening. And of course, those like this will remain a interactive stream for folks that want to join us in Discord. Anybody who's watching the stream right now and doesn't know, you can always go to the description of the YouTube that you're watching, and there's a Linktree link there. Don't worry, that's a good link. I know it looks a little funny. So it's linktr.ee/tipsyraven. that's my link tree, which takes you to all the different things that are Tipsy Raven. In this particular case, click the Discord once you click into that link, and it'll bring you in here, verified, so we know you read the rules. Rules are pretty straightforward. Don't be a dick is like the rule. And then drop into the live chat with us. Joe, do you want to step down below and turn on the mizzen deck lamps?
Yeah. Stay.
You'll have to flip the electric panel up. I've been working on it, so. Yeah. So we're going to wrap up the night. I have these guys. Here, I'm going to switch to this view here. So I have these guys. It's a little. I'm picking up with both cameras. That's hilarious. I'm going to just do it on this camera. So it's Icebreaker, Deeper Talk, right? And I bought these. Oh, that is a little bit of light. That's better than a kick in the ass, at least. They'll probably make a huge difference once we get past the blue hour here. So I bought these on Kickstarter, and some of the questions are pretty freaking weird. Joe and I are going to ask each other a couple questions from the icebreakers here to wrap up our evening, because these can get pretty funny pretty quick. Joe, do you want first or second? You want to kick us off, or do you want to be the subject?
I'll ask first.
You'll ask first. Well, we're going to go off the deeper talk.
All right.
And if it's a shitty question, you don't have to ask it. You can skip right to the next one. And this is how we're going to wrap up the night here. We got a couple minutes left of the stream this evening. I want to appreciate everybody for coming out and being a part of it. You are all very awesome people. I hope that you enjoyed our first run of the At the Stern, specifically with the storytelling of Navy man Joe here and his shenanigans aboard the Kitty Hawk.
Oh, I haven't even begun to talk about
I know. We could do this 10 more times, and I'm sure we could fill 10 more episodes. So
remember, if you ever come across a time where someone in the military is really messing with you, and you happen to beat the crap out of him, you just tell everyone that he fell up the ladder well.
Up the ladder well.
Okay, so.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
This is the
Tom, I saw your compliment. Thank you, sir.
orange red card.
Orange red.
Labeled beliefs.
Beliefs. Oh, shit.
Yeah, beliefs.
My faith is weird. But hit me. Hit me, brother.
What beliefs would you want to pass on to your children or grandchildren?
That would be a neat trick. I've made it to 37, and I don't believe I have any children. I mean, all things being possible, there's a number of opportunities that I could be wrong. However, that said, I want to make sure that they understand the same thing that my dad made me understand when I was a kid, is that he'll never get angry at me if I take something apart to understand how it works. And so, I mean, I get my ass spanked for a lot of shit. Don't get me wrong. I was raised country, Michigan, conservative. I got my shit nailed a couple of times. But if it was ever me taking apart, say, the family TV, which happened no less than 2 times, because I was really curious how the CRT was doing it, he wouldn't give me a hard time. I was only in trouble if I couldn't put it back together again. That was the only time I got in trouble. And so there was this weird opportunity that exploring the world around me is not a punishable offense, right? As long as I can unfuck the thing that I broke doing so, right? So that would probably be the big thing that I'd want to do. When it comes to beliefs like the invisible friend in the sky or the invisible friend under the ground, I'm agnostic. I don't deny the possibility, but at the same time, it doesn't have an impact on my day-to-day. So, all right, let me grab one here. Yeah, we got to pay for this Kraken somehow, man. This stuff's not cheap.
It's not too bad.
Oh, this one's a good one.
There's definitely.
I just pulled from the middle of the stack.
There's definitely rums out there that are cost a lot more.
This is middle shelf.
It's good stuff.
In a dive bar, it'd be top shelf.
Yeah.
There's a couple of those when you get to Lansing. There's a place called the Double Deuce, and I swear to God, it's called the Double Deuce. You'll fit in just fine because you got the biker beard already going for you. But like seriously, be careful who you talk to. Be careful who you look at, because it is a bar full of really angry bikers. But it's a hell of an experience. Joe.
Yes.
What's your saddest memory from childhood? Sorry, Joe. It's the first one I pulled from the middle of the stack, buddy.
Saddest memory from childhood.
Saddest memory from childhood, Joe. Share with the internet.
My cat dying.
Oh, man. That's a pain in the ass every time.
Got attacked by a coyote.
Coyote.
Yep.
No shit. Were you a kid here in L.A. or
Orange County.
Orange County, born and raised?
Born and raised Orange County.
No shit.
I was in the city of Orange when I was... I don't even remember how old I was when it happened. But we had these Siamese cats. 3 of them.
Oh, okay.
And my sister had one, I had one, my brother had one.
Right on.
And 2 of them got out one night.
Yeah.
And met some coyotes who were hungry.
Oh, shit, man. Yeah.
Yep.
I had
Saddest childhood memory.
I had a puppy when I was at the first farm that I owned. Golden retriever, super rambunctious like any other golden retriever. She was the runt of the litter, and then she wasn't. So she was all legs, and so she was this bouncy, awkward thing. And the neighbor next to us had horses, and he would frequently go out with a wheelbarrow and cart off a coyote, right? Because the horses kicked the coyote in the head for coming out and messing with them, right? And so my dog always wanted to go over there and play with the horses. And
No.
it's the only time in my life I've ever actually used the zappy bit on one of those dog training collars, because I couldn't stop her with like, it makes a buzz, and then it made a beeping noise, then a buzzing sensation. I actually had to hit her with the zapper because I had to stop her because she was going after those horses, and the horses had just killed the coyote that day. And I felt so bad, but man, I would have been devastated if my puppy died. So I totally get it, man. I totally get it. It's your turn.
Let's go with a blue card.
Oh, shit.
I don't know what the blue card's.
I don't know either, dude.
Oh, blue card is courage card.
Courage. All right. I got some of that.
What big decision in your life felt scary at the time, but looking back was the best decision you could have ever made?
Oh, man. Telling my dad he was wrong. He was specifically wrong about college. So I recently had an opportunity to have a conversation with my boss, because we're looking at getting a new hire to backfill some of my overtime, right? And she was asking me, she's like, "You're the expert. What kind of schooling do you think they require? Like, should we get somebody with a master's in development? Should we get somebody a bachelor's in development? What do you think?" And I had to tell the lady, I was like, "Look, you do realize I'm a community college dropout, right? I don't have a degree. I never even finished community college." And she was like stone cold quiet for a couple minutes. Like you could hear her brain not functioning, and all I could help but think is she's probably sitting there crunching the numbers of how much I get paid and how much I don't pay against student loans, right? I'm pretty sure that's where her brain was glitching, because I'm pretty sure, even though I don't know how old she's got to be in her 40s, right? Maybe even early 50s. I'm betting she still pays college debt.
Oh, there's a lot of people right now that pay college debt.
Yeah, all the way to retirement, they're paying college debt. And my dad made me work when I was 14. He made me pay for college, right? I bought my first car. I bought my way through college, and I thought to myself, this is asinine. I'm spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a year on something I don't technically need. And then I had the opportunity to run into Paul Kidwell. Paul Kidwell saw what I was doing day to day and said, "I have an opportunity for you." And the second he suggested he had an opportunity, I dumped college right away. I went straight into the workforce. And telling my dad he was wrong about me being a failure in life if I dropped out of college was the best decision I ever made. I have no student debt. I have no reason to worry about, that kind of stuff. And somehow I'm here in California and a VP at a bank. So it worked out.
I've got 2.
Yeah?
One was
I'm all ears.
best and worst decision ever was joining the military.
Best and worst.
Best and worst.
All right. Love, hate.
And
I can appreciate a love, hate.
You have to be in the military to understand that one.
So I took my ASVABs, and I went to the ASVABs with my best friend and a stoner buddy of mine, right? The stoner buddy had nothing better to do, so he's like, "Fuck it, yeah, I'll go take the entrance exam for the military." He scored a 93 out of 100. I scored a 92 out of 100, and Eric scored an 89 out of 100.
I beat all 3 of you.
And the next highest score of the day was a 42. And the look on that recruiter's face told me do not sign anything. Like, he was a wolf in the hen house, and he was ready to do horrible things. He tried to convince me that they only had, like, they had motor transport, they had infantry, and whatever the hell the guy is that cooks food in the galley. I don't remember the name
Cooks,
of that.
CS.
Is
Cook specialist.
Yeah, cook specialist. And I thought to myself, you know what? No, I'm really good with computers. I think I should stay with computers. He's like, I'm sorry, I don't have any MOS open for that. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not signing, man. I was like, I'll come back in 6 months. And Eric's over there scribbling his name down on a piece of paper. I'm like, sorry, bro. No buddy program for you for boot camp, because no way. Sean, you know, the recruiter is like, Sean scored the highest out of all of us that day. And Sean's sitting there going, I'm late for my next fucking joint, so these guys are my ride. Don't even talk to me. And that look at that recruiter's go ahead, Discord.
When the recruiters were coming around when I was getting ready to graduate high school, I had another reason for saying hell no. I graduated in 2004.
That was a 2001
What's
baby.
going on in 2003? Exactly.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I remember the whole the towers and everything. That was really relevant to our signatures. So
I scored a 97.
Did you really? Holy
97
fuck,
on the
dude.
ASVAB. And my recruiter, he was something else.
Yeah.
He tried to get me to be a submariner.
Right.
So he goes, well, you scored pretty good on the ASVAB, so what is it you would be interested in doing? I told him I want to work with electronics and explosives.
Yeah.
You know, because I really like things that go boom.
Yeah. Right.
We-
It makes
I
perfect
mean,
sense.
I'm a guy. What do you expect?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, the only thing that we have available right now with those prerequisites is AO and MT.
Yep.
I go, okay, what's the difference? He goes, AO is aviation ordnance. You
Okay.
work with jets and weapon systems, bombs, guns, missiles, yada, yada, yada. I go, that sounds cool.
Yep.
And what's MT? He goes, missile technician.
Oh shit.
And he perked a smile on his face.
Oh, I bet he did.
I go, okay, what's a missile technician do? maintain missiles. Where? On submarines.
Oh,
I
shit.
go, and
Glad you asked first.
without blinking an eye, I go, why on earth would anyone work on a big, long, black thing full of semen? And his smiling face went to, what? I go, yeah, you know, a sewer pipe with a cap at each end. 50 men go down, 25 couples come back up. Do I need to go on? He goes, where did you hear all these? I go, oh, my dad was Navy. He goes, ah, shit.
Yep. You're not gonna get one over on me. All right, here's a fun one back at you, Joe. We're running on to the top of the hour here. I got one more for you, and you got one more for me.
Okay.
All right, and then we're gonna finish our drinks and shoot the shit with the stream offline.
All right.
What do you think you'll regret not doing on your deathbed? Fuck, that's a great fucking
That
question.
is a good question.
Dude, that's a nail biter right there, man. I'm ready for this one. Hit me, Joe.
Well, I know they say you can't see into the future. And I swear to God, I have dreams that show me the future. And I've seen how I die.
Yeah?
Exact same time, 3 different dreams,
Yeah.
3 different times of the month.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I know how I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very pretty. It goes fast, though.
It goes fast? Well, at least there's that. What
And,
happens if that doesn't come true?
Well,
What's your biggest regret then?
if that doesn't come true, my biggest regret would probably be...
Here's hoping it's a long way off, so there's a lot of variables between here and there. But today, if today was your deathbed, let's boil the point down a
It'd
little
just
bit.
be knocking stuff off the bucket list.
Yeah.
And honestly, in all my traveling in the military and all the people I've met, my bucket list is pretty small now.
Leon, this whole box is open to interpretation, man. Some of these questions are really out there, bro.
Some of them are really deep, too.
Some of them are super fucking deep. Like this one's hard.
It is.
Because you got to think about
So-
what you're not going to think about, right?
So everyone makes a bucket list of stuff they want to do.
We know what we know, we know what we don't know, and then
Yeah.
we don't know what we
And
don't know.
It's you put a bunch of stuff on the list of stuff you want to do.
Right.
And I think one of those is skydiving out of a helicopter.
Out of a helo.
Yep.
Not out of a plane, out of a helo.
Out of a helo.
Like with a board strapped to your feet while you're out in the mountains over Colorado, or
No, just jump out of a helicopter.
just a helicopter, but specifically a helicopter.
Yep.
Because there's a place called Skydive Hastings. It's less than an hour drive from the house that you're headed to, and they will let you do static line jumps. They're not tandem jumps; they're static jumps. And after you do 5, you can do a free fall, and they're only like $50 a jump. So,
Yeah.
but that's planes. That's not
That's
helos.
out of a plane.
I
I
can't
want
help
to
you
do it
with
out
the
of a helo
Yeah, I can't help you with the helo problem.
because, I have a very mechanical mind,
Yeah.
and my mind understands a plane.
Right.
My mind doesn't understand a helicopter.
Yeah.
Even though I know how they make their lift, how they fly through the air, everything.
So I can get you half the way there.
My mind doesn't understand helos because I've never flown on a helo.
Right. Okay.
So
kinda
why not?
surprising with the
Why
Navy
not kill 2 birds with 1 stone?
There you go. So my
It's a
dad,
machine that beats the submission.
it literally beats the air
It
into
does.
submission. My dad does hobbyist experimental flight platforms, and aside from the Avids and the powered parachutes, he has a working gyrocopter in the hangar back in Michigan, and it's got 2 seats.
I'm gonna have to make friends with your dad.
You're going to have to make friends with my dad. He operates the sailboat back home, so you're going to have to make friends with him regardless. And more than likely, he's going to come visit you at the house because he's like super paranoid about people destroying my shit back home. So,
Understandable.
this is yours to wrap us out for the night.
All right.
And then I just want to check the Lieutenant Colonel Pack. Yeah, they did the presentations at my schools too. Like I said, I went to school with like 3,000 people, so they were sucking people right out of junior and making it happen. So I do appreciate mentioned by Sarge donations to the Streamlabs link. Very much appreciated. Thank you, sir. There is a bit of a booze bucket going, although it's not too deep these days. I've been trying to lose some weight, and alcohol really doesn't help. So this is a special treat for me. This is the first time I've had soda in 3 weeks, guys. So I'm trying my best not to enjoy it.
Well, it's with alcohol, so. Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh shit!
Okay, so I'm using a yellow card.
Yellow card.
It's called Life Lessons,
Oh shit!
and the reason yellow because yellow's my favorite color.
That's good to know. I should have asked that. Okay. All right. Hit me. Life lesson.
Life lessons. What's the best mistake you've ever made and why?
To be perfectly honest with you, moving to California. So
I'll give you that. It is a mistake moving here.
it is a mistake moving here. I went to the interviews for the bank, and I was here in California for 2 days before the interview because the nature of the flight. We just had some time. I came out here with the girl I was with at the time, and I had the house in Michigan, the cars, the boats, the bullshit. And California, dude, I was just like, I'm not impressed. People here drive like morons. People don't like say hello to each other walking down the sidewalk. This shit's just weird to me, right? The entire environment here is weird. I went for a walk on Venice Beach because people are supposed to be friendly out there. I went walking the waterfront in Long Beach. Doesn't matter where you go. There's just this weird, don't talk to me, I'm not part of your clique kind of thing going on. And I went back to the gal that I was with and I said, nope, this ain't happening. I'm going to go bomb the interview. And she said to me, no, you're going to go own the bank. Otherwise, you're going to have regret, right? If you don't do your best at this interview, because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, you're literally going to die with regret. And I, bless her heart for what it was, because everything else about that obviously was fucked. She said, go own the bank before you leave. And so I went into the interview, and I mean, there was no logical way I'd ever own the bank before I left. However, I walked into that room with that level of confidence. And what was supposed to be a 2-hour interview became an 8-hour interview because they wanted to pick my brain about everything. And I wanted to pick their brain about everything. And I knew more about the problems before I ever signed that silly piece of paper. That said, it was a huge mistake. I didn't need to I didn't need this job. You know, I didn't need to come all the way out here. I had everything I needed back in Michigan. You're about to go enjoy some of it, right? But best possible result from a mistake, right? Because now, obviously, we're sitting here aboard Tiamo. Tiamo's coming around. She's getting ready to, you know, make her trans packs. She's getting ready to do her circumnavs. And I get an opportunity to meet guys like you. I get an opportunity to do streams like these with folks from all around the world. A lot of y'all are from America, but I know Sarge is over the big blue water of the Atlantic. And so I appreciate you guys being a part of it. But as far as mistakes go, coming to California. And I'm super excited for your opportunity to unfuck that mistake for yourself.
I was born and raised Californian.
You definitely,
But
you're going to get a kick out of Michigan.
I've gotten the opportunity that most people don't get, which is travel the world and not pay for it.
Yeah, that military thing can be really sexy in that way.
It's opened my eyes to so many things.
Yeah.
And had I not done that and been able to travel the world, I'd probably be a different person.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
No doubt
being
about
able
it.
to go to literally everywhere I've wanted to go,
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. Well, that's super awesome, man. I'm super jealous of your opportunity to go back home. Literally home. For me,
Home for you.
it is my home. I'm really excited for you to cross this big divide. And
Well, I've driven the distance before. I've actually driven to Georgia and back.
right, but you didn't live at destination.
But I didn't stay there for more
It
than
makes
a
a
couple
hell of a
days.
difference for the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a one-way trip, not a round
Yeah.
trip.
No, one way, and the only time I would probably ever come back to California is, I don't know.
Go sailing with me.
Well, yeah,
But I can always go back to Michigan and we take the Pearson out. So,
this is true.
although you're a big guy, I'm a big guy.
That's a
The
small boat.
Pearson is like half the size of this boat. This is
Okay.
pretty comfortable right now. We'd be cuddling on the back of the Pearson in order to
Well,
both fit back there.
This is, for me, this is a small boat.
Well,
I mean, this would
how
be,
many people were on the Kitty Hawk? What is it, 1,300 complement or some shit like that?
You're
3,000,
thinking
4,000?
small numbers.
Yeah,
With the air wing on board, it's 5,000.
yeah. This is a small boat. Because
This is-
I can't put 5 people on this boat without people starting to wonder where they're going to put their bag
This
down.
is the size boat that the captain of the Kitty Hawk would have just for cruising about.
This is the captain's yacht?
Yes, this is about captain's yacht size, except it wasn't sail; it was power.
Yeah, it would be a power boat, yeah. Could he deploy it from the side of the ship and
he
all
had
that
to
jazz?
because they kept it in the hangar.
Yeah. Oh, do they really?
Yeah,
Oh, man, it's got to be so sexy to be able to bring your boat inside. And
I mean our hangar was big enough. When we found the typhoon off the coast of Australia, and we hit those rough waters, we put every single plane we could in the hangar, and there were only about 4 or 5 birds left up on deck.
yeah,
Now that's 4 fighter squadrons
sure.
of roughly 11 planes a squadron, 2 helo squadrons of 3 helos a squadron, the EA-6B squadron, which had 6 planes, and the Hawkeyes, which are the giant flying radars. By the way, those are terrifying if you know where the safeties are and how to bypass them. We had 4 of those on board.
Yeah.
And a really nifty thing about that particular plane, you know, the flying radar,
Yeah.
is
You're not talking like the 747 thing with the big dish thingy on the top.
it's smaller than a 747, but it has the big dish on top.
No shit.
The dish is actually,
This saucer looking thing.
yeah, it's neutral when you're taking off, landing, or in flight. It imparts nothing onto the aircraft as far as lift or drag. It's really weird. It's the shape of it.
I have some questions about
Same
that
here.
statement.
But they tell me that you can't tell the difference whether it's there or not.
No shit.
Because we have another jet or plane that's literally the same plane, just without the dish, that we use for transporting people and cargo. And the pilots fly both of them, and they say they can't tell the difference.
I got a couple of YouTube comments here. I want to hit them before we wrap up tonight. Tom Drury comes in. I kind of want to make my own gyrocopter. Dude, that shit's cool as fuck. I can't tell you how it actually flies because the blades aren't powered. But when you start going forward, because it's got like it's got blades that push you forward that's mounted behind the driver, right? And as you start to go forward, something about the wind effect starts spinning the gyro, and you lift off. I don't understand how it works because the blades are passive.
Yeah.
There's no pitch. There's not. It's just.
Well,
but it's a cool fucking thing. Seeing it in the hangar
that plane with the big antenna on the.
Yeah.
If you disable the safeties,
Okay.
altitude is the primary one.
That's fair.
Okay, and you turn that thing on 1 mile above the surface of the Earth.
Yeah.
Anything you fly over, you will kill.
Because of the
The output RF.
no shit.
That's how powerful it is.
How do they not hurt themselves inside the tube?
They're inside a metal tube.
Man, that's crazy.
It's a giant Faraday cage inside.
That's fair.
But everything underneath it. That's why it flies so high. So
You gotta wonder if that's like a viable tactic on somebody's playbook. Like,
well,
fuck it, we lost all the fighters. Just fly the radar plane overhead.
the
and
problem is
Takes a while.
there's these things called surface-to-air missiles, and the plane doesn't move very fast.
That's fair. That's fair.
But if you can get them before they get you,
Yeah,
you're set.
there's a really interesting tactic waiting to be written with that.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure it's written. It just hasn't been deployed.
Sarge comes in with helicopters don't fall out of the air because they're not supposed to. And Tom Drury comes in with helicopters don't fly. They vibrate so badly the ground rejects them. And then he asks, what's wrong with California? Joe, what's wrong with California?
Everything. In fact, I've nicknamed.
I was waiting for Jerry to answer the question. I mean, he's been so quiet, and the damn question's been sitting there for so long. I was waiting for you, Jerry.
Fucking everything. Sorry, it's language. Everything.
I call it California.
California?
No, California.
California.
Idiots.
I'm supposed to be coming out to California soon. The only thing I'm looking forward to is complaining about California.
I moved here, and the only thing I got for it was an excellent thing to bitch about.
Right? I'll take you down the 405 or the 10 during rush hour, and
The 91 to 55 interchange.
Yep.
Any time of day.
I've got a list of like 15 people who all want to see my ass as soon as I get in California. At the moment, it's looking like I have to do a round fucking trip to the US.
Yep. You're probably gonna have to, buddy.
No, I'm just saying I'll set traffic with you to show you how bad this place sucks. And then we'll go to a gas station.
Sunday.
In like Compton.
Sunday. Just take them to Compton. It doesn't matter what you go to in Compton. Just take them to Compton. I drove through Compton. I locked the doors on my truck for the first time ever.
Sarge Compton.
Yeah.
He'll be dead.
I'm gonna do
British sensibilities and Compton do not go well together.
not only that, I'm gonna roll the windows down so that and put the child locks on so he can't roll them back up so he can get his ass beat as we drive slowly down the street.
Where's that place in California?
Reverse drive-bys?
It's like a miniature Mexico. They filmed the SWAT movie there.
Santa Ana?
Santa Ana? Yeah.
That's most of Southern California.
I was gonna say,
That
more input
doesn't narrow it
required
down.
for inquiry.
It's either LA or
Take you to
Santa
O'Hare
Ana.
Street. That's actually a pretty cool place.
The
It's
county
like
of LA.
a nice place. It's like a nice, quaint little Mexican village in the middle of Los Angeles. It's actually a really nice place. You should think about the TJ when you're there.
TJ's
Oh God, no. I don't mean that TJ.
Tijuana.
Tijuana.
Yeah.
Oh.
Little Tijuana.
Oh, if you ever go to Tijuana, don't drink the water.
No, you drink bottled water that's sealed if you're in Mexico.
No. If I go to Tijuana, crazy, you're coming with me, and there's two words that are coming to mind. Burro show.
Okay, I vowed to never go to Tijuana.
Ping pong show.
I thought that was Thailand.
Donkey
Oh,
show.
they got it in Tijuana too. I've seen it.
Well, I am not remotely surprised, Jerry.
They don't use ping pong balls, they use softballs.
I watched the ping pong show in Bangkok. That was interesting.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is 8:21 p.m. here Pacific Standard Time. We are 21 minutes over, but we had an excellent conversation with Carrie Easy Joe at the stern, live with love from Tiamo. Joe was sharing his vape there with you guys a little bit. I sincerely hope that everybody enjoyed the show tonight. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're here hanging out with us. Definitely if you're here this late in the episode. Don't forget to hit the bell while you're at it so that whenever I go live or I post something there on YouTube, you see it. Come hang out with us here in Discord. The conversation's pretty slow, but it's always kind of moving, so feel free to participate there. It sounds like we're going to get some really neat pictures of some engine diamonds, some mock diamonds off the fighter here
Off
soon,
the hard
hopefully.
drive, probably
Yep.
when I get home, actually, if I remember.
Right on? Yeah, I'm all about it, dude. In the meantime, we're going to roll them sexy closing credits and laugh at ourselves for, what, I don't know. It didn't feel like a bad show.
No, it was good.
Felt like a good show. I'm going to sit here and, oh shit, I'm out of beer again. Or I'm out of liquor
Rum.
again. I'm out of rum. Where's the rum? Still in the
You
bottle.
sure you want more?
Actually, I think we should be done.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of tonight's episode. The episode will be available for VOD here as soon as YouTube unprocesses and reprocesses it. And we will be back again sometime soon. There's no schedule yet, mostly because I don't have a plan for releasing content. However, that said, I will be working to do Scottish story time, so there will be story time here on the channel. Probably doing that live here on the back of the boat, since it seems we got the stream all figured out and it ran pretty good tonight. We'll also be starting a cooking show, and Jerry, who really hates California but really loves food, will be joining us here on the boat. We'll be cooking everything from grilled cheese to full-on Thanksgiving dinners with whatever we can work with here on the boat. It'll be very specifically restricted to what we have, as if we were floating 200 miles off the coast of some deserted island. So that should be a lot of fun. I'm hoping that to come together here soon. Lots and lots of fish. Fish. So look forward to that, guys. Hopefully here sometime soon we'll be doing that. Tipsy Tuesdays themselves will be making a return. We'll be doing some educational Tipsy Tuesdays. There's about 20 different topics I have planned. Some of you are familiar with Tipsy Tuesdays due to the pilots ran on Chris Bowden's channel. We'll be recreating those since that material's been lost, and making those available. So plan on interacting with those, and we'll be basically starting from the beginning of that and running it all over again. So everybody gets a take two on those, including me, which should be a lot of fun. But in the interim, please enjoy these closing credits.
I take a breath, I'm not gonna lose. This is what I came here to do.